What's up guys, it's Leanne Henry here, and I want to tell you how to stop letting these dealerships take advantage of you. I'm going to tell you exactly how to buy a car. I'm going to tell you how to walk in there, negotiate like a pro, and leave on terms that won't kill you and your credit in the future. This is probably going to be a very long video, so I'm going to split this up in separate videos and do a series of it. So this is video 1. For the next video, make sure that you check the description box below and like, comment, and subscribe. If this video was very helpful to you, then make sure that you share it with someone else. And if you are local in the Metro Detroit area and you want somebody to come in and do the talking for you, send me an email and let's see what we can do. Disclaimer, I am not a professional. I never claimed to be a professional. I simply have done this a few times. I am well versed in the negotiation process, and I feel like I've done enough to be able to tell somebody what's good for them. And I've had a couple of different situations and scenarios, so I know that it works. Tailor it to however your situation needs it, okay? So don't come back to me with lawyers or anything like that. Everything that I'm saying is strictly for educational purposes, and you should take this with a grain of salt and do it your own way, however you feel is best. All right? Okay, great. So what makes me the voice on car buying? By no means am I the best of the best. There are some amazing negotiators out there. In my experience, the things that I've done and the tactics that I've used have led to success. My very first car buying experience, I didn't have anyone to go with me. I knew that this was something that I was going to be on my own with, and that it was going to be a car that I was going to have for the next few years at the bare minimum. So I wanted to make sure that I was getting something that I could afford if anything was to happen, if I was to lose my job, if just whatever, if my financial status had changed, I could still be able to afford my car. So to make a long story short, I was at the dealership. I had been car searching for months at this point. I'm the type of person that I have to look at everything. I want to make sure that I'm making the right decision, that I don't want to be driving my car down the road and be like, oh man, that's a nice car. Like I should have tried that one. No, I test drove every single thing in the segment so that I would know I got the right car that I liked in my price range. First offer that the dealer gave me was, I believe, $369 a month. I said absolutely not what I told you that I wanted. The next offer he came with was two something. I still said absolutely not. That's not what I came here for. So I actually, folded up the paper that he brought to me. I was like, thank you for your time, but I'm gonna go now. So he was like, you know what? Hey, just hang tight. I'm sitting there. I'm tired. I had a long day at work. I'm just gonna entertain what he has to say, but in my mind, I know I'm gonna walk away. So he leaves. He comes back with the sales manager, and the sales manager's like, hey, Leanne, I'm Dontrell. I'm the sales manager. What can we do to earn your business? I'm like, Dontrell, I'm tired. I've been at work all day. I've been car shopping for the last few months. I know exactly what it is that I want and the price range that I want it. And if I don't get it from you all, I'm gonna get it from somewhere else. And right now, I haven't been getting what I want, so I'm going to leave and find it somewhere else. He was like, well, what were you looking for, Leanne? What were you looking for? I know that I want a lease. I know that I need 15,000 miles a year. I also know that I want this car note to be under $200 a month. And I've seen it done. What can you do? So I was a recent graduate. I worked at a university at the time. So there were a number of discounts that I qualified for. So I ran that list down to him as well. So you make sure that you stay pleasant. Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, he came back, slid me a sheet of paper that said $183 a month, but it said like 12,000 miles on it. I said, no, I asked you for 15,000 miles. He was like, that'll be 15,000 miles. I said, at this price point? He said, yes. I said, please write that down, sign your name, circle it, and I'll be back tomorrow to get my car. So that was my very first experience. That was me at 22. I got my car all by myself, no co-signer, nothing like that. Second time, I was helping someone else. Long story short, the very first offer that the dealer gave her was, I think, $489 a month. I said absolutely not. We were at that dealership for 4.5, probably 5 hours negotiating down, and we were the last people in the dealership, and we finally got them down to $250 a month. And finally, most recently, I was helping someone else. So the first two, mine and the other person, were leases. This most recent person was a purchase of a used vehicle. I helped them get their payment down from an original offer of $240 a month, an 84-month term, and over 20% interest rate, down to less than $200 a month, a 64-month term, and a 6% interest rate. This may seem high for some if you're well versed in the car buying process. However, this person had average credit. Their oldest credit line wasn't even a year old, and they didn't have a ton of money as down payment funds, and we still were able to secure them this beautiful car in these really great terms. So now that I've told you about my experience and why I feel like I'm qualified enough to talk about this stuff, let's jump into the content. We're gonna break this down in steps. The very first thing that you need to do before you buy a car is check your credit, okay? I don't understand how people walk into dealerships and don't have any idea what their credit score is and just take whatever the dealer gives to them. No, that is how you set yourself up for failure. You need to know your credit score so that you're well aware of what it is that you can qualify for and the interest rates that you can expect to get. If you don't know your credit score, then they're just gonna throw anything to you and make it sound good, and you're gonna say yes. We don't want that. We want you to have the best terms possible. Credit is very complex, and I'm gonna create another video and another series on that, so make sure you stay tuned for that if you need more information about how to build your credit score. But I'll just talk very, very briefly about it right now in regards to purchasing a car. Now, if you have a high credit score and a high income, you can pretty much just walk into the dealership and tell them what you want and what terms, and they'll make it happen, because they know that it's not hard for you to get a car. If you don't get it from them, then you'll get it from somewhere else, right? So they want to make that money, so they're gonna make sure that they make you happy. So you can essentially just walk in there, tell them what you want, and you drive off the lot with your car. If you have average credit, it can go either way. So you still have a little bit of bargaining room, but it's a little bit more difficult to get approved for certain loans and certain amounts. So it's gonna take some time of you sitting there, negotiating, and allowing the finance manager to call around and talk to banks, et cetera, and try to find the best rate for you. Especially if you make sure and make it clear that you're not just gonna take any interest rate. You wanna leave with something that you're comfortable with and is not gonna set you up for failure in the future. If you have a poor credit score, it is much, much more difficult to bargain. So you need to make sure that you either have a very, very high down payment, or look into the option of getting a trusted cosigner, someone who has a very high credit score, that is trustworthy and trusts you enough to put their name on the line. Okay, so there's a number of ways for you to check your credit score. So just do a simple Google search. A lot of your credit card companies now are partnered with Credit Karma or CreditWise to allow you to get your updated credit score quite frequently, actually. So just make sure that you check into what your credit score is before you go to the dealership, so that you're armed with that information and you don't have to wait for them to tell you what your credit score is. This is the first video in the car buying series, so make sure that you click the next video.